and welcome. It's time for us to have another really interesting conversation right here on Africa Business Radio. And we have a really interesting gentleman on the line with us. Now we have Dr. Ruben West. Now he's truly a one-of-a-kind speaking and training industry expert. And what sets him apart is not just his unique abilities to motivate, transform, and inspire on stage, but rather the vast and varied experiences and successes he's achieved prior to taking that stage. He's had a really interesting journey. Dr. West has created international influence and received global recognition for his work. Now in 2016, he received the President's Lifetime Achievement Award from President Barack Obama. And in 2018, Dr. West received the Girma Wolde Giorgis, former President of Ethiopia, Presidential Award for being a Human Conservationist. In 2019, he received the Sidney Allicock, Vice President of Guyana, Global Humanitarian Award, and was recognized as the United States Civility Icon of the Year by I Change Nations at the World Civility Day celebration in Gary, Indiana. Welcome to the studio, Dr. West.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's a pleasure.
All right, then. Now, there's quite a lot about you that is online that we've been able to hear and when we were doing our research into having you on the show. But there was something you did. You co-founded the Elite School of Surgical First Assisting. And
yes.
There was a surgical assistant training program. Now, I didn't even know there was anything like a surgical assistant. I knew that there were resident doctors and, of course, surgical nurses and things like that. But surgical assistant, how does that stand out? How does that work?
Sure. And then there's also PAs, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners.
Yes.
So I was in the Gulf War in 1991. I was a surgical tech where we passed instruments to the docs. One of the surgeons said, Dr. Ruben, I'm going to have you assist because it's not 9 to 5 at war. It's until the patients stop coming. We were the 410th evacuation hospital. After he had me assist, I got an idea. I said, when I get back to the United States, because we were in Saudi Arabia, I said, I want to start this profession where surgeons can just call me, heart surgeons, general, GYN, robot, it didn't matter. They just call me. I come in, I assist them, I bill the insurance. It didn't exist in the state of Kansas. It did not exist.
Wow.
Now, here's the power. That was the point. Everything had to have its origin. Florence Nightingale, she started the nursing profession. And I thought, if she could start a profession, why can't I? I serve the same God she serves.
Wow.
And so you're right. It is relatively new. Me and some colleagues, we wrote the textbook, a scope of practice, job description, college curriculum there in the state of Kansas. It took us 10 years to establish the profession, but we got it launched, and I've assisted in almost every surgical specialty, trained people around the country, started a surgical assistant business where we train people to be surgical assistants and put them to work. So what they do is they go in with a surgeon, assist in the surgery, close up while they go see the family, and then we bill the insurance.
Okay, so let me get this clear and see if I'm getting this right. You didn't have a medical degree. You didn't have a nursing degree, right?
Not at all.
And just based on your experience in the war, you came back and developed a whole new course of study.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
And can I just say,
yes,
my grandfather was a pastor, and they always taught me about faith.
Okay.
They always taught me about faith. And so I believe that our ideas are our inheritance. T.D. Jakes said, we think in trees, but God blesses us in seeds. So he gives us these small ideas that we have to walk out through faith. What stops most people is most people say, I'll take action when I get the resources. But I believe God says, I'll give you the resources when you take action. So you have to get this small faith seed of an idea and then start taking steps. And then along the way, people come to you, they start helping you, they start advancing you, but they don't take any action.
Okay. So this is really different. This is one of those one-of-a-kind ideas that it takes a long time before people come behind you and stand behind you or even partner with you. It also seems like something that was considered really expensive at the time. It's really an expensive risk. Now, you hinged quite a lot on this becoming a success. Talk to us about how that risk made you feel and how you were able to overcome it.
Well, let me just tell everybody, and I'm not going to downplay it. It was hard. It's hard when people say to you, "What? Are you crazy?" Like, you don't have a degree in nursing, you don't have a degree in medicine, you're going to help start a profession? How is that possible? Who are you? Who's going to let you do it? Everybody's going to ask you who's going to let you do it. And my thought process was, it's not about who's going to let me do it, it's who's going to stop me from doing it.
Oh, wow.
And so what happens is you have to immerse yourself in the right mindset and then block out the naysayers. Because if you surround yourself with the naysayers, you're going to quit. Now, when I'm speaking, I'll ask the question, how many people in the audience have had an idea for a product, a service, or an invention? You thought it was a great idea, but you didn't know how it was going to work. And then 6 months later, 9 months later, a year or 2 years, you saw that very same thing that you thought about.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, it's not what you think of, it's what you act on.
Okay.
See, I believe that our thoughts are energy. See, because you could think a thought and get happy. You can think a thought and get sad, upset. Newton's laws of physics says energy is never lost, it's only transferred. So when you get that energy of thought and you don't take action, boop, it goes to the next person, boop, it goes to the next person.
Wow.
And it may go through 10,000 people. And so until somebody says, I'm going to take action. And now you're sitting there looking saying, man, I thought of that. They don't care. You didn't do anything. The universe rewards people who take action differently from those who don't. And so you have to take action on those ideas.
Okay, so just for clarity, we've been introducing you and talking to you as Dr. Ruben West. I did just mention now that the profession you started and initiated, you were not a doctor at the time. So how did you get the doctor title?
Fantastic. So my original degree was criminal justice. And when I knew I was going to start speaking, when I knew I wanted to change lives, I wanted a better understanding of what stops people from taking action and then where they put their focus on. And so I went and got my PhD in Positive Neuro Psychology so that I can speak in a way to help people and kind of better understand. I didn't really want to teach. I didn't want to be a professor, anything like that. I just wanted to understand so that when I spoke, I could speak in a way that helps people. And then I do coaching and I can help them. Most people focus on the problems. And what positive neuropsychology does is help you focus on the possibilities, the solutions. So it's not trying to figure out what's wrong, it's getting you to focus on what's right. And so that's where it's a PhD title in doctor, not an MD title.
Okay, so PhD doctor, not MD doctor. Dr. Ruben West is in the studio here with us right here on ABR, and we're having an interesting conversation. I have to talk about the people that you've ended up mentoring. Is there anyone of note that you can share with us? Maybe a special story you could use to motivate those listening?
Well, you know, one of the stories I like to tell is my personal assistant. She was from the hometown I was from. We grew up together. We went to high school together. We went to the same church. And for all these years, and then I left, I moved, I started doing all these things. And then I started this Live Your Best Life movement. And I wanted her to help me promote the movement. So I called her and I said, Tracy, that's her name. I said, Tracy, do me a favor. Would you buy my shirt, take a picture in it, and then send it back to me? And I want to post it online.
Okay. And
she said, of course, anything I can do to support you. So she bought the shirt. I shipped it to her. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And 2 weeks later, I still didn't have the picture. So I called her. I said, hey, Trey, I'm waiting for that picture. And she said, okay, yeah, I'll get it. I'll take the picture and I'll send it to you. 3 days later, I still didn't have the picture. So I called her back. I said, I don't understand. Do you have a cell phone? Because mine, you just take the picture and send it. Like, I don't know what you're waiting on.
Okay.
And she started crying. And she said, I can't take the picture in a shirt that says live your best life because I'm not living mine. I would be a hypocrite if you posted it.
Wow.
And I said, well, tell me what's going on. She said, Ruben, my life is not like your life. Like, you're doing all these amazing things and I'm not. And I said, well, here's the thing. I coach people all over the world. I can coach you to a better life. It's not a problem. She was reluctant, but she agreed. Now, let me tell you why she was stuck. She was stuck because she was stuck in an environment. And the people in the environment saw her problems, not her possibilities. Okay. And she'd never had her father. She never knew who her father was. She never met him. And so she had spent her years looking for love in all the wrong places. And so she ended up having 3 children with 3 different fathers. She was never married. And there was a stigma that came about that, right? And so when she was talking to me, I said, well, can I tell you something? And she said, yeah. I said, well, first thing I want to tell you is I wasn't asking you to get the shirt out of pity. I was asking you to get the shirt from Live Your Best Life because you're the strongest woman I know. She was like, what? I said, Tracy, you had 3 children by 3 different fathers. You were never married, right? I said, but all 3 of your children graduated high school. They've never been in trouble with the law. Your oldest son was voted top 20 entrepreneurs under 40. Your daughter, Michelle Obama, spoke at her graduation. Your other son works with the elderly. Your oldest son has a Thanksgiving food drive that he's done for 10, 15 years on his own, not his company, on his own. He's a music artist. He has the largest toy drive for Christmas in their old neighborhood. I said, where do they get this from? And she said, well, that's the things I taught them. I said, say that again. Like, you're not catching that. Most people don't understand. I said, and the reason that you're stuck is you're around people that judge you as the past, and I judge you as the prophecy. There's things that's been said about you. There's things on your life that if you get around the right people, you could change the world. And I said, as a matter of fact, if you work with me, we will change the world together. Now, I said that boldly. I said it boldly. Watch this. Since that time, we've spoken in Guyana together. She met the vice president, gave him her book to put in his library. We've spoken in Canada together, Dubai together, Bahrain together, London together, Kenya, Africa together. I mean, we've been all over together, and I can't believe my life sometimes. And I said, I couldn't believe your life sometimes back in the past, because I always saw this greatness in you, and you were around people who couldn't see it. And so sometimes you have to get around people who believe in you, and you can borrow from their belief. I told her, I don't want you to believe it. Just trust me. Just do what I say. Just take these steps. And what I showed her was when she got outside of those people who knew her and just shared her truth and shared her story and how she was able to overcome and the life lessons she learned, they wanted her for who she was, not the mistakes she had made. And so I told her, there's a difference between who you are and what you've done. Most people put you in a box of what you've done. I put you in a platform of who you are, and people get a chance to see you for that, and it changes people's lives. I've done that over and over again, but that's one of my favorite stories because that was somebody I knew, and now I watch her today, and she's a completely different person.
Thank you so much for answering it with that story. And one would expect when speaking with people such as yourself that you would have probably picked a story where someone ended up making millions of dollars, to make the story sound shiny and glossy. But you took a homegrown story. You took something close to your heart. You took something real, and you were really passionate about telling it. And I have to say thank you for that, because it speaks to the fact that you are not one of those. In Nigeria, we have this aspire to perspire group of coaches and mentors who they talk the talk, but they don't essentially walk the walk. And people are often worried in this climate about who they're listening to and how grounded they are. So I thank you for answering that way. But speaking of millions of dollars, you have helped individuals increase their productivity and, of course, improve relationships and spend time doing what matters most. I was reading online that your mantra is live your best life. I can't wait to get one of your T-shirts. But as quickly as possible, as we round off, what are a few tips for the average hardworking young man or young woman who are trying to live their best life? As quickly as possible, what are the first few tips you would give them if you met them today?
I would tell them to get a mentor. There's people who have been through things already, and you don't have to go learn those lessons. You can just learn them from them, and you'll get it in a much faster way, and it'll help you overcome those hurdles. So that's the number one thing, is to live their best life, is to get that mentor. Number two is I would start focusing on gratitude. I would start a gratitude journal so that you can see the positive things that are happening to you as opposed to just focusing on the negative things, because those positive open your eyes to new possibilities. Then the number three thing is I would make sure you have a vision board. The vision board is designed to reprogram your reticular activating system to the things that you want, not the things that you don't have. So that vision board, a mentor, and a gratitude journal, those are three quick things that they can do.
Thank you so much, Dr. West, for joining us right here on Breakfast Connect. It's been really interesting talking to you right here on Africa Business Radio. We can't wait to have you actually come into the country and talk with us further. Please make sure you reach out. Of course, we are at Africa Business Radio on Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, Instagram. We can't wait to hear from you, everyone. If you have questions for Dr. West, just send them in and we'll try and make sure that he gets to respond to them. All right, then. Until next time, it's a great day out there. Make sure that you stay right here with us on AfricaBusinessRadio.com.